Hello and welcome to Woke Watch. I'm recording this on the 4th of June, so we're into Pride Month. It's odd, isn't it? There's Mother's Day, Father's Day, International Women's Day, Christmas Day and Pride Month. However, this year I am genuinely surprised and saddened that so many lesbian, gay and bisexual people and organisations are taking to social media, particularly Twitter, saying we don't want it anymore. We don't want Pride Month because the battles for equality based on sexuality have largely been won. And now it's like the entire LGBTQIA+ agenda has been hijacked by the transgender cult. Now, if you're transgender or one of the attention-seeking fucktards that call themselves non-binary, that's fine, you do you. What many of the L's, G's and B's are objecting to is the way that gender ideology is being forced onto children. They're being brainwashed by woke teachers and woker parents. It's all over social media. And some teenagers, often actually teenage girls with undiagnosed autism, are being told they're either trans or non-binary and having irreversible surgeries, double mastectomies. Now, where the fuck does it say that non-binary people can't have breasts? And that's before we get to the behaviour among many trans women and drag queens, which, let's call it very groomy. We've seen weirdos like Jeffrey Marsh acting on social media in a way which is highly questionable. And of course, drag queens are putting on drag shows for children. But drag is and always has been highly sexualised. There have been protests about Drag Queen Story Hour. Some people are asking, why do children need to have stories read to them by drag queens? I think that's the wrong question. Why do so many drag queens need to be around children? Anyway, the woke story I read in the news this week will come as no surprise as coming from higher education. Regent College, Oxford, right here in the UK. That college has a new policy saying that staff and pupils can be disciplined or expelled if they commit hateful acts towards trans and non-binary people. These hateful acts include making jokes, so comedy is now a fucking hate crime, dead naming, and if you're not familiar with that, if I would transition to being a trans woman, if I said my name's now Jennifer, anyone who refers to me as Danny would be dead naming me. It may just be they haven't kept up. And the last one is using the wrong pronouns. Now this one is disturbing. Here's a clip from Libs of TikTok.
In January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December.
So using the wrong pronouns is enough to get staff sacked and pupils kicked out of this college. But there we saw someone who's changing their pronouns every fucking month. And it gets worse than that. There are some gender fluid people who will change it every day or every hour. How's that meant to be policed? Will a teacher be disciplined because they referred to a female pupil as she when that pupil decided 30 seconds earlier that they are now the spare wheel in a 1981 Ford Cortina? The pronoun thing is absolute bullshit. If someone wants to identify as something, that's fine, as long as they don't expect everyone else to do it. Why do these people need external validation to confirm their made-up identities? And again, this college is in Oxford. A college in Oxford from which people are likely to progress to Oxford University, one of the most prestigious universities in the entire world. It's a college, it's a place of higher education. Those students should be learning mathematics, history, philosophy, engineering, but no, instead, they're being told that some men have babies and some women have penises. However, the college has said it will try to respect those who have gender-critical beliefs. Gender-critical beliefs. What I think they're referring to there is the wild notion that women have XX chromosomes and generally have a vagina and a uterus, whereas men have XY chromosomes and a cock and bollocks. You know, that idea that's done and functioned fine since the dawn of fucking time. But once I'd read the article, I then went and looked at the comment section. And that cheered me up because there wasn't a single comment backing up the university. Everyone is against it. Because I think as a society, we've had enough of this woke crap. Because we know that wokeness largely consists of being vile to everyone else whilst playing the victim. Like this college's policy, that if anything is said to offend a trans or non-binary person, then that's offensive and the person who said it can be gotten rid of. But at the same time, the trans women can demand to enter female-only spaces where they present a physical and sexual threat. But returning to the start of the video, something else which gives me hope is there are many lesbian, gay and bisexual people on Twitter saying, "Get your shit off my flag." Because the latest pride flag, because it used to just be the rainbow and that was about sexuality, then this intersecting thing was added. And if you get 4 of the new pride flags and put them together at 90-degree angles, they form a swastika. I'm not going to post that image because a man in England did last year and he got arrested for a hate crime. However, the intersecting bits represent, among other things, the trans movement and also people of colour. I wasn't aware that being black, Asian or anything other than white was a sexuality. Essentially, the modern pride flag is the club for people who aren't straight and white, which is a shame in the UK because that's the vast majority of the population. But I get where they're coming from, because the people of colour thing, obviously that's ridiculous and it was added just after George Floyd. And the trans thing, that isn't a sexuality. That's either someone with gender dysphoria, a severe mental illness, or someone who used to be called a transvestite, often a man dressing as a woman for a perverted sexual fetish. And just before I go, something I missed from the list of hate crimes from this college in Oxford is also misgendering. Now, I don't think misgendering really exists, or not in the way that it's intended, because if I put on a dress and said my pronouns are she and her, it wouldn't make me a female. I would still just be a man in a dress. Someone would only misgender me if they thought I genuinely was a woman. And that's not fucking likely. Again, that's that bizarre need for external validation, because it's no more ridiculous than me. I'm a 5'11" white guy with male pattern baldness. If I were to say I'm now actually a 6'5" black woman with a full head of hair, and if you don't go along with me, then that's a hate crime. Wokeness is a mental illness. As ever, thanks for watching.